Just once you are done this week. Okay, please confirm you can hear me. Apologies for the technical issues. I think Chris is currently having some technical issues on our side, and so that we won't be keeping everyone waiting. We have on the call Olamide Shugbamu, who is going to take over now. So that immediately Grace is able and always she can always come home. So sorry. So, Lamde Shukam is going to take the class now. We're going to start the session. Please apologies for the inconveniences this may have caused. Sorry.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. My name is Olamide Shubham, and I would. It's a pleasure to facilitate this class while the other facilitator while they get set and prepared. Okay. So welcome to um, AI in every city, organized by DSN. This week we are focusing on Excel, and today we'll be starting with some basic introduction and fundamental understanding of Microsoft Excel. So the class has started and I'll be running us through what you would gain from this class. And okay, so by the end of this class, you should have the understanding of Excel, the basic overview, the application, how to use it and what it can do. You should also understand the interface of Microsoft Excel. You would learn how to navigate through the interface, how to move around. You will learn the best practice of data entry and data formatting, which also you'll be able to like see me do and you'll be able to see yourself do. That is hands-on data entry and basic formatting. Also take us through the best practice of loading data sets into Microsoft Excel. And then we'll explore our data. So let us continue. Okay, so when we talk about Microsoft Excel, why why is Microsoft Excel so common? Why is it that for every data science and data analyst, the first thing you get to hear is Microsoft Excel? What is this application and why is it so common? So here I said Microsoft Excel is a versatile and user-friendly spreadsheet application designed for efficiently organizing, calculating, and visualizing data. So, unlike some of the other data data organizing and data platforms where data sits, Excel is one of the best and user friendly. Most of the functions are just click, you just go there and click and click and click. You don't have to do a lot of coding, a lot of manual cleaning, a lot of augmenting and correcting. Excel is automated, it is user friendly, and it is versatile. It works across many platforms. That is why when you go to school, you see they are using Excel. When you go to the bank, you see they are using Excel. When you go to fintech industry, they are using Excel. So it is versatile. It can adapt to any situation. It has a gridded layout of cell that allows user to input and manipulate information easily. So I don't, if I want to change some, if I want to edit my data, I don't have to like edit the whole document. It is arranged in grid cell, that is in blocks. So I can just go to any particular block I want to edit or arrange or put and put that cell, and it will not affect other cells around it except I reference it. So I've been mentioning data a quite number of times now. I've been mentioning data a quite number of times now. So, but some people, I would like to. That's because I've assumed that we have understanding of what data is. Well, at this point, I would like to explain what data is and make sure that everybody's on the same pace with the knowledge of data. So, data is any raw fact, information, digits, alphabet, number, names, any raw fact, any raw input. It could be audio, it could be video, it could be pictures, it could be names, it could be items, it could be objects. All these things are data. They are things that you can process and get meaningful information out of them. So if I have students in the class, all those students, I can decide to process one or two questions on them and answer those questions. So at that point, those students becomes my data set or my data point. So if I have boys and girls in the class, I can say, okay, how many boys are in this class? How many girls are in this class? At that particular point, those boys and girls they become my data point. So data is anything that you can do calculation on, anything that you can process in that way. And process by processing, I mean you can sort it, you can calculate it, you can keep it, you can store it. Yes, you can store it. You can divide it, you can do arithmetic operation on it. So basically sorting, calculating, doing arithmetic operations, storing it. So those are properties of data sets. So that is what we mean by data. So it is not something like when you hear the word data, it is not a buzzword. It should not be strange to you. It's something you see every day. By the time you go to a school, they give you biodata form. It means that they want you to put down some information that they can actually store. So you see the properties of data now, you can store it. Once they store it, they can collect it together and keep it. That's more properties of data. So why is Excel unique? I've explained that in my previous statements that it is versatile across platforms. It does the basic arithmetic to the complex ones. You'll be learning all these things. And because of these capabilities, it is a fundamental tool for every business. Its simple interface, customizable feature, and widespread use across industries make Excel an essential skill for everyone working with data. And you're also going to be joining that everyone today. Yeah, please next slide. So here is a brief overview of Excel and its application. What can we use it for and how do we use it? We can use Excel to organize and manage our data. We can use Excel to perform calculations. We can use Excel to create charts and graph. Chart and graph are pictorial ways of looking at our data, of visualizing our data to understand them better. You can use Excel to analyze our data. Analyzing our data includes sorting it, filtering it, pivoting it. Can use Excel to perform so we can use Excel to create budget and financial reports. These are for financial organizations. These are for businesses generally because every business needs a budget, every business needs a financial report. So once you log your day-to-day activity and your day-to-day sale in Excel, you can at the end of the day create a financial report with it. And from the financial report, you can draw out a financial budget for the next financial session. So we can manage tasks and project in Excel. This is very easy thing to do. You can create lists and database. You can use Excel to create lists and database. For instance, you have a software solution. You can decide to use Excel to house your database where the software solution will be feeding from. Or let's say when we go to hospital now, nowadays they no longer use paper and biro to keep files like on the primitive days where they will say go and bring their file and NHIS will be looking for your file up and down. They don't do that again nowadays because they've adopted a digital database which can be in simple Excel format. They just ask you for your card number, they type it, and once they type it, you are good to go. So we can also use Excel to automate tasks, like basically calculation task. We can use Excel to automate calculation task. You don't have to be doing calculation all over, all over, all over, all over. You can just input some formulas in your Excel sheet And when you are ready to do the calculation, Excel automatically have the answer. So that is automating task. We can Excel allow us to collaborate with others. So that's one beautiful thing about Microsoft Excel. I am doing my work with my laptop, you are doing your work with your laptop, somebody else is doing their work with their laptop. At the end of the day, we are all working on the same thing. We all see the same results. We can all collaborate while working independently. So let's quickly go to the interface so that we see what we are talking about. Yeah, so this is like a pictorial explanation of the Excel interface. For first timer, this might look a little bit alien, it might look a little bit strange, but basically the key to cracking any software solution is understanding what every function, every feature in that solution can do. So we start with the title bar. Title bar is the first one there. That's where you find the title of your Excel sheet that you are working on. The one you are looking at currently is the book one, and it is saying Excel because this is not a saved document. It is book one. It is just title bar. So beside it, allows me to search. So in this search column, in this search entry that is here, I can search anything in the whole of Excel, not only on this sheet, but in the whole of Excel. Maybe I want to search for a document that is not open there, I can search it. And if I want to search something right inside this document too, I can also search it. So the next thing is the profile of whoever is using the account, and then we have the minimize, we have the we have the reduce size, and then we have cancel button. So the ribbon is the most important group of feature. Let me just put it like that. It's not even group. It's just ribbon. This is where you find different tabs, different groups, and different functions or feature in Excel. So we break the ribbon down later on in this session, but I just want you to know that most of the functions that you need, you find them in the ribbon. So here is one thing I also need to say about the ribbon. I said it earlier also that Excel has simplified the process such that you just click and it implements for you. You don't really need to do a lot of computing, even though it allows you to do all the formulas and everything. But you can still do them just by clicking. And most of the things you'll be clicking, you find them in the ribbon section. So we have the quick access to QAT. So these ones are like the things that you do frequently in Excel. You can actually put them under the quick access tool so that you go there straight and then you do it. An example is when I'm working, it is the best practice to always save your documents. So when you are working, it's the best practice to always save your documents. So you can actually add the save button to your quick access tool. If you are working, and one of the things that you do often is, let me say, um, how can that be? You do flash fill. Flash fill is a function in Excel. So if one of the things you do frequently is flash fill, you can actually add flash fill to the quick access tool. You can see it's just a very tiny space beneath the ribbon. In this case, you can add as many functions as you want to just for you to be able to quickly access it. And that is what that does for us. So the next one is the name box. So this name box does basically allow us to know the name of the cell that we are in currently. If you look at this Excel sheet, I mean the whole workspace area, that place that is gridded, that is ruled, and all of that, you see that they are in rectangular boxes. They are in rectangular boxes. And what that means is that each box has its own name. So they are named in respect to their column, alphabet, and row number. So the first one is column A, row 1, and that name is going to be A1. Yeah, so the more you the more you go or the way you move around determine the name of your column. So you can be in column, you can be in cell T20, meaning that you are in column T row 20. And that is where you can find, that is what the name box does. So you can use the name box to quickly jump into somewhere that you want to jump into. Like say I know that the place I'm going is C200. I can actually type C200 in the name box and it just takes me there. I don't need to scroll around or start dragging and dragging. So that is one full use of the name box. So we have the function tab too. Here a list of functions are stored. So this is also one of the click advantage that Excel has. We have a lot of function in Excel. You'll be learning them in the coming days. So we have example at the sum, the count, the mean, and the average. So you don't have to necessarily put all of these functions in your head. It is good to know that Excel has this function, but how do you implement it? It is Excel has simplified it that, oh, don't worry, I have memory and let me use my memory to save these functions for you, and then Excel is saving them for you. So you just come to the function tab, click the functions, and then you are good to go. So the formula tab is where you can define a formula. Now, what makes up a function is a formula. So maybe the particular formula, the particular function that you need is not defined in the Excel functions. You can actually write a formula for that. Yeah, you can actually write a formula for that, and then you write that formula in the Excel formula bar. Another thing is that you can use two or more functions together to make a new function, and then you write that one also in the formula bar. Let's say I want to use average and then I want to use sum. So I can actually write equal to sum divided by average in the formula bar. You'll be seeing some of these things in the subsequent classes. So we have column head, column header, and row header. Actually, yes. So the column header are the alphabet. A, B, C, D, like we can see them there. Then the row header are the numbers. One, two, three. I've explained what they do before. So we also have the cell. I've also explained the cell. They are the rectangular grid that you see. Each cell has its own name. So we have scroll bar. So scroll bar allows us to scroll to and fro from to navigate the sheet. So we have the horizontal scroll bar and we have the vertical scroll bar. Yeah, we also have the sheet tab. So in an Excel workbook, we can have multiple sheets, just like a book. So you can have multiple sheets, you can open, and then so it means that I can have sheet one, I can have sheet two, I have sheet three, and like that, and like that, and like that. So if I'm doing a financial yearbook, I can have sheet one to be January, I can have sheet two to be February, I can have sheet three to be March, I can have sheet four to be April, I can have sheet five to be May, like that. So it makes my work organized. Now you see the part where we say Excel allows you to organize your data. So we also have the status bar. So the status bar is basically to monitor all that you do. So if you are running a function and it's taking time, you can find it in the status bar. As you can see right now, if you open your Excel, you are not working on anything, you see ready, good to go, accessibility, good to go, the status is ready. So we also have view mode. You can view full screen, you can view presentation mode, you can view paper mode. Paper mode is different from sheet mode. Sheet mode is the one that is just spread. Paper mode will tell you, okay, A4, landscape, A5. So you just see it as a paper. Then we also have the zoom level. So I'll be moving very fast to the other slide because you also have some hands-on session, and then we'll also be able to entertain question. Yeah, so I've explained all of this. I've explained all of this. So here is just for our own reflection, assimilation, and consumption like that. Maybe okay, later you want to reflect on what you've learned. So I would not be repeating myself on all of these all of these things I've explained them earlier. So we have the title bar, quick access to function tab, column header, cell sheet, zoom view, name box, formula bar, the ribbon, the scroll bar, status bar, view mode, and the likes. Yeah, so this is where I want to go next when I said the ribbon is going to be explained for us so that we know what each group, each tab is doing. So if you look at the ribbon, we see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9 tabs. The first one is file, the second one is home, the third one is insert, the fourth one is page layout, the fifth one is formulas, the sixth one is data. We have review, view, and help. So if you have if you have probably used Excel before, or probably you are an advanced Excel user, you have more than these seven, more than this nine. You can have developer, you can have automate, you can have it. You can, because this Excel allows you to add external tabs, external plugins. So you can actually have more added, and then based on what you add, you know what they do. So let's explain just these few ones that we have on the screen, the default ones. So the home, this is the first thing that you see, and we have the first one is clipboard. The first group there is clipboard. Under clipboard, we are able to copy and paste. We are able to copy and paste. So when we are copying, we can just click a cell or highlight a range of cells. You can click from this cell to this particular cell, and then you are able to highlight all, come to copy and copy it. You can also, if you want to paste, you can also use the paste function. So there are different ways of copying and there are different ways of pasting. So that's why you see arrow under that home. So that small arrow allow you to say, okay, what type of paste do you want to make? So you can paste value only, you can paste special, you can paste with style, you can paste hyperlinks. Also for the copy, there are different copying style. You can copy as a picture. Instead of just copying it as a text, you can actually copy it as a picture and then it will copy it like as a picture image. Also, we also have the font group. So based on what that does, it allows us to specify the font size, the font name, the font color, the font style, underline, italics, and the like. We have alignment. So this alignment, some people don't really know what it does completely, but it does more than just center and justification. So you can align to the center, you can align to the bottom, can align to the top. On default, Excel aligns data to the bottom. So if you don't want to align your data to the bottom or to the top, you can align it to the center. You know, in Microsoft Word, we have left align and right align and center align. In Excel, you can also do top align. You can send your data to the top and it will stay at the top. We also have bottom align. So this kind of alignment are good for, let's say you are trying to make a report sheet, you are trying to make like, yeah, a report sheet whereby you want the scores to be down and then you also want the percentage to be, let's say, immediately under it. So you can just do down align for the score and do up align for the percentage. So that way they look like they are together, but they are not actually together, they are in different cells. So we also have the wrap text. So one thing in Excel is that you can type a long word. You see the way the rectangle is very small. If your data is longer than the rectangle, it will hide the remaining part of that data or of that entry. So one thing you can do to reveal it is that you do the wrap text, and the wrap text is found under alignment. So another one is the merge and center. So if you want to add or you want to join two, three or more cells together to make it into one, so this is where you find the merge and center. So the merge and center does not only do center, you can do merge left, you can do entire merge for an entire column. You can also unmerge and etc. like that. So we have the numbers. Okay, I'm still here. So I'll try to like speed up on this ribbon. We get to like practice it on our own during hands-on. So the numbers, this is where you can specify your data type. You can specify if you want if your entry is a number, if your entry is in percentage, if your entry is a decimal number, if you want to put commas between your entries. Say you have 5,000 and you want to write 5,3 zeros, you can actually specify that here. You can also specify a date and time. You can also specify temperature. You can specify if it is money, if it is the currency. You can also specify fractions. You can specify accounting numbers like ratio. You can specify principal interest like that and like that. Everything is basically percentage. So under number group in the home tab, that is where you can specify all of those. Then we have style. Under style, you can do conditional formatting. You can format the table. You can highlight the cell. I'll keep this style for when we are doing data formatting, yes, and visualization, because that is where you learn more about conditional formatting. But yes, you can also arrange your data to look like a table. So that is where you use format as a table. So like the one you are seeing on your screen now. Okay, 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 yeah, not the one you are seeing on your screen. Pardon. So let's continue. So we also have the cell. You know what a cell is. So you can delete cell, you can add cell, and you can format cell. Editing. Editing allows us to do like part of some data editing task. For instance, you can do flash fill under editing. You can do auto sum. You can auto sum a column. You can clear. You can delete style. And then this analyze data is a quick data analysis tool for data analysis. Then the next part of the next tab of the read bin is insert. So this is where we can insert pictures, we can insert link, you can insert plugins, you can insert formulas. So just look at what each group does. Just look at the name of each group, you see what each group does and then how you can use them. You can insert design. Then the next one is data. Data allow us to import data. There are different data types that are supported in Excel. You would see them under this data tab. You can import data from different sources. You can import different types of data. You can visualize data. You can duplicate data here. You can do flash fill. You can analyze data, you can do A/B testing on your data under this data column. You can input some advanced function on data under this data column. Then we also have the formula tab. So the formula tab has like predefined formulas. So we have auto sum where you can just sum up a column, find the minimum, the maximum, the average. We have logical functions where you can say if error, false, switch. You can say, okay, map. Map is also a good function. If you are familiar with Python, you know that we use map to say, okay, if this is this, map this data to this data. Then it does like a one-to-one assignment and the likes. So we also have so we have other trigonometry and advanced mathematics function under this function tab. So you can also write your own function and save it under this function tab. Like I said, if your formula is not something that you are your formula or your function is not something that is already in Excel, you can write your own and save it under the function formula tab. So the next one after formula tab is the layout. So this is where you get to define your own kind of layout. Please a minute. Yeah, sorry, please give me a minute. Okay. Uh, so I'm just trying to like switch my screen and so that we can continue with the class. So basically, the next thing that we have is navigating through Excel. So at this point, okay, let's just learn it, and then when we get to the hands-on, we all revise everything that we've been saying together. So we pick it up from the interface, then we look at how do we load data, how do we navigate around Excel, and the likes. Okay, so let me just share my screen with this other device that's just trying to switch my device. So apologies for the. So you can see my screen now. Let me just go to where we are. So navigating through Excel. So Excel can be a little around the place or over the place, yes. Because they are Excel allow you to enter up to like a million observations and say yeah some thousands column. So if you have a very big spreadsheet, I mean going down can be a lot of work because it just goes down cell by cell, cell by cell. So pressing the down key until you get to like 5,000 and something entry, it can be a lot of work. It's not the optimal way to do things. Or if you quickly want to locate a cell, you know, yeah, like we let me just use this scenario for an instance. You have like 500 students in a class, let's say an undergraduate class, and we all want to check our results, and then you don't know where your name is particularly because it was printed at random, and you want to find your name. You have to look through the whole 500 and something names before you find your name. And sometimes you even you look through the whole of everything and you still not find your name. Maybe because there was an oversight, or maybe you overlooked it at some point and then you did not see your name. So what if we are using Excel? Are we going to be doing this thing over and over again? What are the optimal way to navigate through Excel? What if I want to quickly pick, okay, let's say I want to look at all the people that have 5.0 for that semester. Am I going to start looking at 5.01, 5.02, 5.03? At the end of the day, I might miss out some important points in the data. So what are the best way to navigate through Excel? We have different functions and keys that can help us do that. So I've put together some of them in this sheet. So this is for within a worksheet. Remember, I said when you open Excel, Excel is like a book. Each page is a sheet. So when you are on a sheet within a sheet, you can actually use this to navigate within a sheet. Then after this, we talk about the ones you can use to navigate between sheets. Let's say I want to check this data now, and I also want to check it in the next page and the third page or the fourth page sef. You can actually stay on sheet one and you are checking the data that is on the fourth page. So within a sheet, you can use control up or control down to go to the to go to like the page, quickly navigate to the top or the bottom of the current data region. So what I mean is that if I press Control up or Control down, it will go to the last page of my data. My data will be on the same page, but I'll go to the last entry on that page. If I use Control left and Control right, also it will not move me to the end of the data. It will just move me to it will move me to the end of the page. I mean, yeah. No. It will move me to the end of the data. That is the whole data page. Like, so if my data is from 1 to 1000, if I press Control down, it will take me to the 1000th entry. The same thing for Control left and Control right, depending on the direction I want to go. So if you use page up and page down, so this just divide your Excel into screens. So if I do page up, it will move me down from the first screen. So if my first screen is showing me 1 to 40, if I do page down, it will show me 41 to 80. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. And then if I do page down again, it will show me 81 to 120. That kind of just section my. Oh, somebody said my screen is not showing. This can another person. Okay, yeah. So let me just stop sharing and share again. Um, okay. Yeah, I think everybody should be able to see my screen now. So I'm actually on page up and page down. So I said it just divides the sheets into pages, and then we can all see which particular page I'm working on. So we have alt down and alt up. So this is like a quick access to filtering. Like if I'm on a particular column or on a particular entry and I want to see all the alternative options, that is what that does. If I want to see all the options, like all the other entry in that column, let's say I have a column that says class, and I have primary one, primary two, primary three, primary four. So if I go to any entry in that column, and I do alt down or alt up, it will just list all the alternative options in that column for me, meaning it will list all the classes in that column. Then we have control find. This is like a very good tool that allows you to just find wherever you are looking for. That's control F. It opens a find and replace dialog box and allows us to quickly locate a specific data. So if I'm looking for all the students that have 5.0, I can just do control F, press 5.0 in my in my dialog box, and then it find them for me. So based on that, I can do some other aggregations. Okay. Then we have Control G. Control G is go to. So you can quickly jump to a particular cell if you know the name of that cell, or yeah, if you know the range of that particular cell, you can just go there. In fact, you can also use name box. So you just go to the name box, you go to the name box area here, you type the name of whatever cell you want, and then it allows you to go there. So control G and name box, they do basically the same thing but with different style. This one opens a dialog box where you can just type in wherever you want to go and it goes there. While the name box, you go to the name box and enter the name of the cell that you want to visit. So this particular part is for navigating between sheets. So you are on this particular sheet and you want to navigate to another sheet. and the likes. So there are different ways to move around within a worksheet and between worksheets. So the quickest way between worksheets, you can use control page up or control page down. So this moves the sheet like, oh, control and page up. It means, okay, let me go to the next page. So it moves you to the sheet that is to the left. Remember, the sheets are arranged like at the bottom of the Excel. So if I do Control Shift page, I mean Control Page up, it will just go to the left. If I do Control Page right, it will come to the it will come back to where I am. So if I want to go to another sheet, I can do Ctrl G. Remember, Ctrl G allows us to specify the cell name. So if you can also specify a cell name in another sheet. So this is the format by which you specify the sheet. Just say the name of the sheet followed by an exclamation mark and the cell that you want to go to. So let's say I'm looking for total amount of money that I earned in, let's say, 2000, and let's say in January, and I know that January is the name of the sheet. January is January, so I can just say January exclamation mark. If the name of the cell is C100, I'll just put C100. It will take me there. That is what code does. So I can do the same thing in the name box function. So I can also move between worksheet range. So remember that control page up and control page down, they take me to the left and to the right of my workbook. So control home and control end quickly take you to the end of your worksheet. Control end will take you to the last sheet in your workbook. Control home will take you to the takes you to the beginning or to the end of your current data range in a worksheet. This is within worksheets. Yes, this is within worksheets. So here are some important things that you should note. Note that the sheet name and the cell name are separated by exclamation mark when using Ctrl G and name box to move between sheets. Also note that holding shift while navigating within Excel allows you to highlight as you navigate. So if you hold down shift and you are pressing any navigating function, maybe control home or control end, control page up or control page down, it allows you to navigate to highlight the range that you have just navigated. So let's move on. Yeah, to accurate data entry. And yes, when we enter data in Microsoft Excel, for our data to be authentic and to retain integrity, because it is very important that our data, the integrity of our data is intact, that our data is actually saying what is meant to say. So a lot of people be familiar with this problem with Excel, whereby they try to input a phone number and then it drops off the first zero in that number. So this is because Excel does not, Excel general does not understand what you mean by 09. Excel is taking your data as value. So zero does not have value. So you just remove the zero and then it keeps the number there for you. I'm looking for something else I can use to do example. So when we are inputting data like this, it is very important that we input our data in the correct format. So accurate data entry and format in Microsoft Excel are crucial for maintaining the integrity and authenticity of our data. So how do we make sure that we are entering the data right? So this one is different from loading data. This one is like, okay, I have an empty sheet. I want to be saving my data there. What are the best practice to do this? So click on the cell where you want to enter data and enter the data directly into the selected cell. So if you want to enter your data, you have labeled the column, you have labeled the rows. Make sure that you click the cell. When you click the cell, check it will highlight it with a red box. Is it red box now? I think it is. So you just highlight it with a box. Make sure that that box that is highlighted is where you want to input the data so that your data don't end up in another place because it can cause a lot of error when your data ends up in somewhere else or you mean to put it somewhere else, especially for those that are editing data. Let's say you already have a data set and you want to edit it and you just use navigation key to go up, down, down, and you feel like okay, if I go two, so I'll just type four, I'll go two, I'll just type something, I'll go two. By the time you go three, your finger goes three times, you will not know. And then you just end up deleting a data that is there already and inputting a new data in a wrong place. And then you continue like that. So to correct those kind of mistakes can be a little bit of extra work. So the best thing is to click the cell where you want to enter your data and enter your data there directly. Use the appropriate data types for your function. So just beside it, there are formatting options and their description. So if you are entering percentage, use the percentage data type. If you are entering a date, use the date data type. Remember that we can find these data types in the number group under the home tab, or when you go to data, you can find it under the data tab. So all the formatting options, use the appropriate ones. So if you are writing a fraction, use a fraction data type. If you are using a string, Excel automatically saves value as string. Or except when you are doing dates, even your dates, if you don't really specify that this is a date, it will take it as a string, like to take it like a static character. Nothing changes, it is just value. Then we also have autofill. So when you are working with Excel and you realize that oh, this is something that is repeated, or this is something that is incremental, or it is decremental. Maybe let's say you are decreasing it by two, or you are increasing it by let's say two also. You can actually just use like an autofill. I'll show you how autofill works in our hands-on session. You can also use flash fill to like make prediction of new data. Let's say, sometimes when you're typing, Excel want to do autocomplete for you. So you can also use flash fill to quickly fill up a column in Excel. So use the functions to calculate formulas so that if the function is correct, just know that the value in the calculated cell will be correct across multiple data that you want to do. Instead of manually pressing calculator and typing the value, press calculator, type the value, press calculator, type the value. This is one of the things that Excel has solved for us. So you can also set data validation rules to restrict invalid entries. So let's say you have a column for age, and then you want them to be putting their age in numbers. You can actually set a validation rule on that column and say, okay, take this kind of digits. Don't take more than three digits. Also, don't take alphabet. Also, don't take hyphen. Also, so just like that. So if somebody comes and want to put date of birth where they are supposed to put age, it will not take it. Excel will just tell you that invalid error, check your data, those kind of prompt that you put when you are setting your validation rule. So we are making progress, and then everything that we have learned, we can actually look at it in this practical exercise. So loading data into Excel, I'll show us in the practical exercise. Okay, so I'll show us this loading data set into Excel in our practical exercise. Then after that, we can visually explore the data that we are going to load. Yeah, we can visually explore the data that we are going to load. Trying to see if I have links to the data sets in this slide. So that's okay. I think that's not there. Okay. Okay, so let me just quickly grab link to my data. Allow me to stop sharing for a minute. I want to grab link to my data so that we can we can use it for I'll stop sharing, okay? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Thank you everybody for staying on the call. I'm back now. And now you can see me in Microsoft Excel. So I just opened a new tab of Microsoft Excel. So one of the things that we want to do now is we want to load our data into Excel. So before that, I give instance of data entry in Excel and likes. So here's what we want to do. We want to load the data into Excel. So I want to show us like the best way to load data. Let's say we are not entering data manually now. We want to load an existing sheet. So a link has been dropped, a document has been dropped in. Okay, we'll drop a document very soon and we can all download the document. You are going to s- follow the step I'm following to input the data into Excel. So one of the things I want to mention before doing that is that, sorry, please give me a minute. Okay, so yeah, just trying to make sure that we get the document in the correct format that I want us to get it. So that is what I'm trying to do in that case. So for data sets, there are different format of data sets that we can load into Microsoft Excel, and I'm going to be showing us that now. Let me make my screen a little bit bigger. Trying to make my screen a little bit bigger so that we can all see. Okay, yeah. So I come to data under this data tab, and then you can see get data. So if you click this get data, you can see all the sources where we can get data from and all the data types that we can get. This first one is saying get Excel workbook. So Excel workbook are always in .xlsx. X for xylophone, L for lion, S for singer, then another X for xylophone. That kind of format is an Excel workbook. So Excel supports that kind of document. You can also do text or CSV. So this text or CSV is simply saying that you can actually import your data in any default separation that you have. So CSV simply means comma separated value, meaning that each column is separated by a comma. You can also have your column separated by a space. You can have your column separated by a semicolon. You can have your column separated by a tab. Everything is accommodated under text slash CSV. We also have the XML. XML is for styled markup language, that kind of thing. So if your most of this is basically for, let's say, web data, web visual data like HTML, XML, CSS. Then we also have JSON. Your data can be in JSON format. JSON format is an object notation format whereby each object is noted by, let's say, a semicolon, or let's say a curly bracket. Yeah, curly bracket. Now that is JSON. Then you can also import PDF. You can import from a folder. If you're importing from a folder, it means that in that folder you have defined metadata like column names, and then you have defined everything that is under the metadata. Also, we can import from database. You can connect to an SQL database. You can connect to an Access database. You can connect to Azure database. That is when you want to import from Azure. Just know that if you are connecting to a database, you are basically connecting to probably a data that is in SQL format, a data that is in, yeah, SQL format basically. There are also some other query language formats that you can connect to once your data is on a database. But the important thing is that if your data is on a particular database or on Azure, your data is mostly in tabular format. And because it is in a tabular format, Excel can understand it and import it in the way that it will fit into the columns and the rows that you have in Excel. So you can do from Power Platform like Power Query, Power BI, and the like. So basically, Power BI and Excel, they share the same query engine, which is Power Query. So if Power BI can understand your data, it means that Excel can also do what, can also understand your data. Then we have other sources like MongoDB, Amazon, and the likes. Like this now, I said from a picture. Remember that sometimes in Excel, if you want to copy data, you can copy data as a picture. If you also want to import data, you can import data from a picture. If your picture is a tabular format, Excel can read it into a CSV or an Excel format. So you can write advanced query, you can launch Power Query Editor to import data. So the data that I want to import that has been dropped on this group, I want us to like react with the emoji. If we have the data AIED.csv. If you have the data now, if you have the data now, please react so that we know how to proceed, so that I'll show you how to get the data. Because the data is in .csv, I'll click get data from file, from text slash CSV. So I want you to follow this process. get your data, and I'll tell you why this practice is the best practice to load data into Excel, especially if you are working with very, very sensitive information and you don't want to lose the data. So I have my data here on that document. I'll just look for it under AIED. Think as this is the name of this document you are looking for, like about 3 kilobytes document AIED. So if I click it and I click import, then it reads my file into a query engine. Yes. So yeah, connecting. Let me just wait for it to load. Yeah, so it has loaded my file here. So you can see this is my file. I have year, category, product, sales, and the like. So here now, I can load my data. If I click load, it loads my data into Excel. If I want to do some Power Query advanced stuff, I will click transform data. But what I just need to do before I load it is that I make sure that all the columns that I want are here. The correct entries in the column are falling under the correct column name, and then I can click load. So if you click load now, you see that the data will be sitting pretty well in Excel. So I want to show us something. Remember the name of the document that we opened is AIED. Now look at my Excel, look at the name of my document, Book 1 Excel, meaning that this way of opening this data did not touch the original one. Even if I've opened this data from an online source, it did not touch the original one. It just load it, like it copied it, load it, and bring it into my own document. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. Meaning that if at the end of the day I make mistake with this data or any value in this data, or even if I don't make mistake, if I make improvement on this data and I want to reference the original data and say before making the improvement, this is what the data looks like. It means I can still go back to my data that I downloaded and I still have it the way it was before I started working on it. And then I can now say, this is how it is when I finished working on it. So I don't need to be bothered about whether I am overwriting any existing data or you understand. So this is like the best practice of loading a document in Excel. So the name of the sheet that I loaded is AIED, but the name of my document is Book One, meaning that I did not touch that document. Yes, it is still intact the way it is. So here now, this is a data of, let's say, so one of the things we can do, I want to know the number of entries that are in this document. So I want to go to the end. So navigating through Excel, I don't want to scroll too much. I can do control and down. So it takes me to the last entry. You see, just keep everything and took me to 76, meaning that I have about 75 entries in this Excel. If you know the reason why I'm saying I have 75, just let me just drop in the comment section just to keep us busy. Normally it's showing number 76, but I'm saying that we have 75 entries in this document for different years. So I want to go back to the top. I press Ctrl up, takes me to the top. So what I want to do is that I want to quickly do some. So we've seen how to load data into Excel and we've seen the different formats. I've said CSV, I've said XLX, I've said I've said TSV. There are different formats. So we are going to be learning them as we proceed in this class. So we want to look at data visualization and okay, just exploring data visually. Let's just look at the data, learn what it's. Let's just look around the data and see what it does. So, but before that, I want to do something else. I also told us that when we are in Excel, if you do page up and page down, what does Excel do? So, I want us to quickly see that too. So, if I do page up and page up will do what? It will take me to like the next screen. So, look at this. My screen is showing 27. Is it 27 you are seeing, guys? Am I still sharing my screen? Okay, yeah. So there's a little bit of network lag. So my screen is showing 27 and 26. Let's just take 26. So let me press page down and see what happens. So you see, it took me from 20, just shows me the next page. Oh, I understand why this happened. So it took me from 36 to 62. So the reason why this happened is that if I show you my this screen you are seeing now, I have maximized the size, meaning that the entire frame is 36. So let me quickly do that. Let me just go back to 100%. So you see me here on 100%, right? So the last entry here is 35. So if I press page down, it will just go like, oh, next screen, 36 to another number. So let's try page down now. Page down. You see, it started at 36. So to 70. So if I want to go another page down, so I just go like 71 to like this, just go like 71 and like that. So I can just switch from page to page, page up, it goes another increment, page down. But if I hold control page up and control page down, it goes to the next sheet. Let's see that. So control page up, control page down. Page down just goes to the sheet one. If I want to go back up, I'll say control page up. Takes me back to the upper part. So we are wrapping up very soon. We are wrapping up very soon. So I want you guys to download the data, have it ready, because this data is also something that you'll be using in the subsequent classes. So, but one of the things I want to show us is that if you have entered your data very well, correct data formatting is what I want to show us. So in this sales column, you can come here and click sales. Now, it's showing me numbers of sales, but this data is not very good for reporting because I don't know if I've made my sales in naira or in dollars or in anything. So I want to make this figure a currency so that it is okay for reporting. So I'll just come here and come to this dollar sign under numbers, right? I can actually click this general and drop down and click currency. So the default is dollar and then it adds comma to it because after that's the proper way currency does. I don't want to have decimal point, so I clear away the decimal behind it. Just click this decimal and then it clears the decimal. So if you want to set your default currency value, if you click this, you have different options. Then you can see more accounting functions. So let me just increase my screen back so that it's not too small for those of us that are seeing it from like smaller screens. So what I'm saying is that under the sales, you can actually just do more currency and then you see more currencies here. You can do more accounting functions. You can define naira because yes, you can define naira and then naira will also be seen. It's just that the naira symbol does not come automatically with the ASCII alphabet. I don't know if you okay, some of us are familiar with the ASCII alphabet, some of us are not. But Naira can also be, you can also add Naira to it and then display Naira as a symbol. Also, this rating, I want it to be in percentage. I guess you know where I'm supposed to click already. So I'll just come here, I'll click percentage because this is saying 0.75. Just percentage is when I click it, it just turns it back to 75%. You know, percentage is divided by 100. If you want to write it as zero, as that percentage, you multiply by 100. So that does that for us. So now this data now is properly formatted. There's no date there for me to say, okay, let me also format this one as date so that format it as date. But when we are formatting it as date, we make sure that we are selecting it as year, not a calendar. So when we come here and say date, so you see what it does. It splitted it into date, month, and year. But it is just year. Sorry. So there is a way to correct that. Yeah, there's a way to correct that actually and still specify it as year, but you go into like more advanced data types. So I don't want to use that as an experiment in this class because it will take our time. So but under this option, so you can click the short date, then you go and modify the short date. Like when you click short date, it will make the data look somehow, but you go more advanced and modify it that, oh, I'm not talking about month, I'm not talking about day, I'm only talking about year. So one of the things that we can also do to visually look at our data is, I mentioned the other time that if you press Alt and up or Alt and down, you see all the options. So I see that this my data has 2017, 2015, 2016. I want to see all the years that this captures. I can quickly use that Alt down and Alt up. So let me come here to this year and click Alt down. So you see it just quickly shows me 2015, 2016, and 2017. So this is telling me that these are the three options in my data. So there's something that did not work. Let me try it here again. Okay, so that did not work. So you can also try that on the next column of category. So yeah, just press Alt down or Alt up. So I see in this option we have accessories, we have bike, we have clothing, and we have components. So these are the categories of the data that we have. So another way of visually exploring our data is to quickly sort it. So I can say I want to sort it by year. So how do you sort your data? So if you want to sort your data, if let's click the entire data range. So if you want to click the entire data range, you can click Control Shift End. Now, Control End will click the entire data region, the entire data range. So if you hold Shift to it, it will highlight it. Yeah, it will highlight it. So I want to sort. So if you want to sort, you can come to Data, then if you come to sort, so you see this sort, there's advanced sorting and then there are some regular sorting. So I want to sort by year. So I'll just click on this AZ. So what this does is that it sorts 2015 first. Sorting by year is that, okay, everything in 2015 up, everything in 2016 follows, everything in 2017, and like that. So you can also sort by two columns. So if you want to sort by two columns, that's when you click the sort button. So we'll look more into this in our next session. So you can sort by year, you can add another level, sort by category, you can add another level. So you can actually sort like that. So this is just to visually look at our data. So let me also do something for us. So 2015, because I've sorted, I can actually quickly navigate the whole of 2015. So I say, okay, oh, I want to click 2015 and I want to see how many sales are in 2015. Then, okay, my screen has been maximized and okay, and I'm so if you look at the count here, the count is 25. So because I've sorted my data, everything in 2015 are together. I'm visually looking at my data now. How many sales are made in 2015? From this count, I can see that we have 25 sales. So without any calculation, addition, and all the likes, you can see that it is easy to visually explore the data like that. So look at the name box, you have 25R times 1C. So this one is the particular part that I've clicked is A2. So if you click downward, it will just reference your. So the last takeaway for this session is going to be filter. So look at this filter, okay? So there is also advanced filter and there is also simple filtering. So I want to filter for only commodities that are bikes, and I can actually do that. I'll just come to this. Once you click this filter, you can see it is activated. If I don't want to activate it, you see that all those drop down arrows are not there again. But if I activate it again, they come back there. So I can use them to do filter. So I click on filtering and then I want to select only bikes. Meaning I want to see only commodities that are sold on bike. So now you can see that I've seen bikes only, I'm seeing bike only. And then I can see only the sales that are made in 2015. I also select all and then I see only the sales that are made in 2015. If I click OK, and then that does that. So one thing I want to do very lastly is that I want to see how much did I make on selling bike products. Like the category is bike, so bike products. How much did I make in 2015 on selling bike products? I can just select this entire range. Look at D6. So I have these four entries, and then okay, let me try it because Excel can also assume something else. So I'll just come to this formula and do auto sum. So let me click here first and do auto sum. Okay, so auto sum. So it's summing. This is the funny thing I say Excel can do for me. Excel can do D2 to D78, and you see that this will be wrong. So let me just do this. This should be wrong. So if I press enter, so Excel is summing all these things to $73,900, which is not correct. Meaning, the reason why it is not correct is this: all the ones that are filtered out, Excel is still adding them, and it is not supposed to be so. So basically, if you have filtered your data, you need to like copy it out, or okay, we need to copy it out. No, okay, yeah, we need to copy it out. Most of the time, you need to reference it somewhere else. That is how it works. You need to go to another sheet and reference it so that it does not, you don't have to like do it manually. But in this case, I'll quickly do it manually so that we can see it. So I want to copy it out. I'll go to another sheet. I'll paste it. So I'll just say bike products in 2015. Yeah, so oh sorry, I'll just paste, what's wrong now? This is not what I intend to do, sorry. So, bike products in 2015. So I want to paste all those things that I copied. Oh, they did not copy again. So let me just go back and copy them again. Then I can now say total. Then I can now do this. And now go to this formula and do auto sum. Now you see it just sums it under for me. I don't if it is an entry that is longer than this, the same automation it does, it's going to do for me. So basically that is where we are going to stop in this session for introduction to Excel, and I'm sure that all the items that we have outlined that you are going to be learning, you have been able to catch one or two things about them. So tomorrow we're going to some more useful stuff using Microsoft Excel. Thank you very much, everybody. If you have questions now. So I see somebody saying, can we get the slide? Um, yeah, okay. So the recording will be available, but yeah, the recording will be available on YouTube immediately after the session, but the slide is not available. Please, how did you make the header green? Okay, so because I imported the data, um, one of the common practice is that once you want to open an Excel file, we double click on the file or we right click and we click open. And that way it just open it as a raw document, does not open it as a table. But because I imported it, I get the file from a CSV and I allow it to pass through the query engine. It sees it as a table and then it automatically decorates it for me as a table. That is why the header is green. So I mean, the latest version of every software is recommended, but I always recommend anything above 17. So 2017 and above is fine for Excel. Yes, because at all you should be worried about the version. Somebody said, should we be worried about the version of Excel? Yeah, you should be worried because Excel has stopped updates on some version like 2003. If you are by the time we get to by the time we have new functions in Excel like XLOOKUP, index and match, some formulas you type, you'll not find them in versions like 2003 years because they only added those formulas like after Microsoft 360, which is like 2020, I guess. Yes, I think, or 2017. Yes, so 2017 upward is good. So does good knowledge of Excel make one a data analyst? I'm just thinking about SQL and Power BI also. Yeah, so like I said, Power BI and Excel are built on the same query engine. If you are using Power BI, you have like I want to remember the name Power BI because if you have a record view, yes, you have a record view. So under record view, everything that you see there are basically tables. So if you can manipulate those tables, it means that yes, you have good knowledge of Excel. It's just that you are doing Excel on Power BI. So Excel is a good knowledge to have if you want to become a data analyst. In fact, it is like the fundamental knowledge to have because if you have Excel knowledge, Power BI will be easy. Even after you make tables with SQL, your table is still going to be coming out. If you are downloading the table for people to use, you download it in an Excel format or a CSV format. Excel SQL is just create, insert, get. So if you want to export it for people to use, then you have to come to Excel level. Okay, so we are looking at more questions. Somebody said you need clarity on how to import the data. So you can go back to the video and look at how that has been done. So if there are no more questions, thank you all for joining. I am happy and eager to see what you can do with Excel at the end of this program, and also thank you to DSN for this great opportunity. So thank you everybody. Uh, all right.
Okay, thank you very much. Please, your favorite emoji. I would like you to celebrate our facilitator Olamide Shubham for this awesome class. Please, I want you to do that with your favorite emoji. It is important to celebrate our facilitator who has delivered this very, very well. I'm sure we are excited and we have learned a lot. Okay, so a quick announcement. Please, the Telegram group is open and we can always continue conversation on the Telegram group. So the facilitator will also be on the Telegram group and some of our colleagues here to answer your question almost every time. So please be there. We are here to respond to you. This is AI in every city. We are glad to host you. The recording is available immediately after this on our YouTube page, and then my colleague will be dropping the link to the YouTube page for you to listen again and again and again to the recording. Okay, so now the attendance form. The attendance form is very, very important for you to fill. There are a lot of benefits attached to this. There's going to be assessment, and then the attendance will be what will be measured. So it is important if you're in this class, make sure that you fill the attendance form, and then don't share the attendance link with your friends who are not in this class. It's actually reducing your own chance of becoming, a beneficiary of some benefit of some opportunities that we may be giving to those who are legitimately attended. So thank you very much. See you tomorrow, same time. We're going to be starting at 11 tomorrow, and it's going to be an awesome session again with our facilitator, with all of you on the call. Thank you, everyone, and do enjoy the rest of the Bye.
On nothing less, lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently.
Ladies and gentlemen, and the winner is DSN Data Science Nigeria.
On me, so stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions.
Congratulations, DSN, on winning the AI ML Excellence Awards and the AOT 5.0 Awards. We all want to say congratulations!
For the champions, stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Here we go.
Congratulations!
Congratulations, DSN.
It's just life that
Congratulations, DSN.
have our strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I have vision, can't you see? I'm on the move, make way for me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up. And when I fall down, pick myself back.
Congratulations to DSN.
Fall down, I have to pick myself back up. And when I fall down, I have to pick myself back up. And when I fall down, I have to pick
Congratulations to DSN. You did it.
stand up.
Congratulations, DSN.
Beyond stand up, stand up.
So don't let it go, 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 go. So don't let it go. So don't let it go, 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 go. So don't let it go.
Once upon a younger year, when all our shadows disappeared, the animals inside came out to play. Went face to face with all our fears, learned our lessons through the tears, made memories we knew would never fade. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. He took me in his arms, I heard him say, when you get older, your wild heart will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights that never die. My father told me. Light a fire they can't put out, carve your name into those shining stars. He said go venture far beyond the shores, don't forsake this life of yours. I'll guide you home no matter where you are. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. When I was just a kid I heard him say, when you get older your wild heart will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights that never die. My father told me. These are the nights that never die. My father told me.
With AI